There's a tree in the Bhagavad Gita that grows upside down. Its roots are in the sky. Its branches point toward the earth. And through this single idea, Krishna reveals the hidden foundation of the entire world. In chapter 15, verse 1 of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes something strange. The Supreme Lord said, "There is a banyan tree which has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas." Wait, roots up, branches down? This isn't a botanical error. This is a spiritual map, a blueprint showing where we truly come from and why this world feels inverted. And before we go deeper, there's something important. This tree is called the Ashwattha Tree. In Sanskrit, Anatplashwa, tomorrow, Blasta, remains. It literally means that which does not remain the same tomorrow. So even its name reveals the truth. This world is temporary, constantly changing, and upside down. Krishna is describing the material world itself and how everything you think is real is actually inverted. Just like how a tree reflected in water appears upside down, Krishna says this world too is only a reflection, not the original reality. So what is this upside down tree? The tree is the material universe, the entire world of form, time, and experience. But here's the key. Its roots are above in the spiritual realm, and its branches, this physical world we live in, grow downward. In chapter 15, verse 2, Krishna continues, "The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. Its twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society." Let me break this down simply so you can visualize exactly what Krishna is revealing. The roots above represent the source, the divine, the unchanging reality. Everything originates from there. The branches going down are this world, your body, your relationships, your desires, your problems. All of it grows from that higher reality, but pointing away from it. The leaves of this tree are the Vedas, the sacred hymns, meaning knowledge, wisdom, the understanding of truth. They're part of the tree, but only if you look closely. And here's the twist. The tree also has secondary roots going down into the earth. These represent karma, your actions, your attachments, your entanglements. These roots bind you deeper into the material world. It's like playing an ultra-realistic video game. Everything feels real inside it, but the true player exists outside the screen. So, why describe it as upside down? Because only by questioning this can we understand the deeper mechanics of reality that Krishna is hinting at. Because from where we stand, everything looks backwards. We think this world is reality. We think the body is the self. We think pleasure and pain are the ultimate experiences. But Krishna says, no, you're seeing it inverted. The real root, the source of everything, is above, in the spiritual dimension. What we call reality is just a reflection, a shadow, an echo of that higher truth. Just like when you try to touch your reflection in water, your hand touches nothing. That is why nothing in this world gives lasting peace. You're trying to hold the reflection instead of the real source. In chapter 15, verse 3, Krishna reveals the next step. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. And here's the hidden reason why you can't find its beginning or end. Because the materials of the tree, karma, desires, memories, attachments, and the three gunas, all create each other in a cycle. So there is no visible starting point. This is the key instruction, the turning point where Krishna shifts our focus from the illusion to the path of liberation. The tree is an illusion, not in the sense that it doesn't exist. You're living in it right now, but in the sense that it's temporary, ever-changing, and not your true home. And the only way to escape this tree is to cut it down, not with an axe, but with detachment. Detachment doesn't mean running away from life. It means not letting the world control your mind. So how do you cut down a tree that has no clear beginning or end? This question alone reveals how deeply entangled our lives are in this illusion. In chapter 15, verse 4, Krishna explains, "Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and surrender to that supreme personality of Godhead, from whom everything has begun, and in whom everything abides since time immemorial." In simple terms, here's Krishna's entire teaching wrapped in one idea. You cut the tree by seeking the root, the source beyond the material world. You don't fight the branches, you don't argue with the leaves, you go straight to where it all began. And how do you do that? By detachment, by seeing through the illusion, by realizing that all the things you're chasing, success, pleasure, security, recognition, are just twigs on a tree that's growing away from your true home. In chapter 15, verse 5, Krishna describes those who successfully escape, those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress. Such liberated persons attain the eternal kingdom. Here's what the upside-down tree really means, the hidden truth about why life feels unstable, confusing, and constantly shifting. You're living in a world that's designed to distract you. Every desire pulls you deeper. Every attachment strengthens the roots, binding you to the cycle. But the moment you realize that this world is not the source, that you came from something higher, something eternal, something beyond form, you stop clinging. You stop trying to find permanence in what's impermanent. You stop seeking peace in what's constantly changing. And that realization, that's the blade that cuts the tree. You were never meant to live on the branches. Your home was always the root. So here's the final truth, the conclusion Krishna wants every seeker to realize before they can move upward toward the real root. The tree of material existence is growing downward, away from the divine. The longer you stay attached to its branches, the harder it is to find your way back to the root. But every moment you practice detachment, every time you see through the illusion, every step you take towards self-realization, you're cutting that tree. And one day, it falls, and you're free. If this teaching touched your inner journey, let it grow. Like, share, and subscribe, and keep rising with Krishna's wisdom.